Boy.
Yeah, this on the food up. HT down there. HT right there. Home over there. It's the boom stop thing. Boom stop thing. Got my niggas right here. Nigga Chandler right here. All here to it. All goddamn day. 42 long. HT. My little bro right there you fuck with. I got 38 for. The one right here, man. Bring my little brother. I got my son over there. Look at my son. How you? There you go over there.
I'm trying to move it at y'all.
I'm ready to go. I go to work tomorrow. I'm cheap ass man job today. Cheap ass phone. Nobody know about that. That's what. Hello, little brother. So you look bad right there. So what, my little boy? Show him how to point. Throw him how to point. You got? Yeah.